Welcome back to the YouTube. Today we are going to talk about selling your summer launch and some tips to do so. We have Stu, who's all right at sales. That's as good as an intro as he's getting. Welcome, Stu.
Allegedly.
Well, no, we've got the data.
Yeah, true.
We've got the data to prove it. We could go, Stu has sold X amount of programs, but proper wanky that, innit?
Yeah, close to 4 million though in career terms.
Just in case he's counting.
Yeah.
Just in case, you needed that to
Not the exact
to.
figure, but it's close to 4 mil, so it's fine.
Cool. Moving on from that, what are the big tips you would give people about selling a summer launch? How do they need to position it differently? How do they make sure people take action right now instead of leaving it? What kind of tips would you give them?
In terms of being on the actual call,
Yeah.
like the sales process.
Or even from application. Let's take it from application all the way through to...
I think coming back to some of the conversations that we'd had previously, you can't just rush in, you can't just drop a launch and hope for the best. Like, it's got to have had a build up. And it's the same sort of things around scarcity, urgency, building that excitement and so on and so forth. Like in regards to getting people to take that next step, I think from the application process, you want to be straight on them in the sense that there's urgency that we need to get these calls booked in. Because there's cutoff dates or whatever it might be. And I feel like you kind of want to make them feel special, but it's like they're applying for something that's not going to happen again or very often. Like, this is the chance for them to take on. So for example, with our scholarship, it was a case of, for a lot of people, they've been desperate to get into the program, but maybe financially they weren't in the best place. So this was the perfect opportunity to be able to actually take it now. Because if they don't do it now, then they're going to wait another 6 months, a year before, and they might be in the same position. So if it's on your fitness one, it's meeting them where they're at. How desperate is your audience to make that change, and how obvious can you make that for them? But it's going to come down to scarcity and the urgency of it as well. I think that's going to be the main two key words, I'd say.
Who are the best people in your audience to target with a launch to maximize the amount of sales that you're going to get?
I mean, if it's not currently your own clients, that you could maybe even get them to help you out with the promotion of it. Mm-hmm. There might be offers you can actually give those people. Like if it's a specific launch with a specific prize or something, get them involved. It's an extra thing. It's an extra service. Maybe you can position it that way to them. But other than that, it's people you've already been speaking to. Don't just assume you need brand new, fresh people. It could have been somebody you were talking to last year. It could be someone you spoke to yesterday before it went live. Mm-hmm. The warmest leads are obviously going to be the easiest people to sell to. So go re-engage with all your old leads, all your old clients, every single conversation you've had in the last 6 months, and just start working it. You can't just rely on the outward sort of social media stuff to do its job.
I would argue that that's probably the worst thing you could do.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
This is when I think launches flop for people because they expect it to bring in brand new people that have never seen it before. So you'll see people like, they'll do like a giveaway or something before they do the launch. Yeah. So they'll get all these fresh new people. They'll have seen them for like a week or something like that. And then they'll drop a launch on them. Yeah. And some people will come through the funnel. It happens. But I mean, for me, when I've done sales, and I'm sure you're the same, when you get those people on a call, it's fucking hard. Yeah. Because the questions that you like for you to really close like really well is like, why this program specifically do you want to do? Or like, why have you specifically wanted to join our program? Why is now the right time? And those questions you get really surface level answers to of, oh, well, I just found you on Instagram.
Oh, I don't know. I just seen you pop up. Yeah. I seen someone share something, so I thought, give it a go.
Right. And those to me are like the absolute worst sales. Too many coaches. And we get this all the time, right? We get people come into the program and they're like, oh, my closing percentage isn't great. And I'm like, okay, cool. Who are you getting on calls? And they're like, this person followed me yesterday and I followed the script. And then they got on a call and I'm like, so you're expecting this person who knows absolutely fuck all about you, who has no idea about why you do the job that you do, has no idea about your skill set or what even you particularly help with, has got on a call. No wonder they were going to have to go and think about it. They should have gone and thought about it for about 12 weeks before they actually got on this call in the first place.
Definitely. I think it's one of those things as well, like relying on people coming to you with launches, it's just in whenever you're going through your business, to be honest, it's relying on a variable that you actually can't control. You can control how many people you go out and speak to, and if the numbers work, you ultimately get X many people on calls. So especially with launches, because you are relying on that drop date of when the link goes live to book calls or whatever. You are relying that everything has been perfect, that you get a certain amount of people booking the calls, meaning that you'll get a certain amount of people who's actually purchased. You could make sales leading up to the actual launch date if you've got conversations going, like, because you might capture someone, you might be like week 2 into building this thing up, but you've got a few conversations going, saying, listen, it's not going to open for another 6 weeks, but lock in your space now, early bird offer, whatever. Don't just rely on this one little click of a send where you stick a post out or a link in your stories that says, book a call now. Get the hard work done way before that. You want to make your life as easy as possible when it comes to the sell, like the actual sales part. So to do that then, put the graft in early, very early.
My advice would be your best way of converting sales on a launch is to physically show the launch to all the people that are generally in and around that buying decision. So that people go through like stages of buying, and there are, the people that are just about aware of you, I would leave them the fuck alone, because it's going to be a really difficult
For
sell.
now,
And also it's going to be a really difficult coach. They're a bit too early in the journey. Unless they're perfect target market and they've like binge watched everything that you've ever done. But it's rare. It's rare, and it's probably not the best use of your time if you're a bit short on time. There's then a group of people that are kind of trying to figure out whether they really like you or not. They're probably worth speaking to, but I wouldn't hang your hat on signing those people up. Then there's people who know who you are, they like you, and they're kind of just waiting for the right time.
Right chance, yeah.
And those are the people where you're going to get the most of your launch sales from. Those are the people that are going to be aware of who you are. They're going to give strong answers to the questions that they've given you, because you built an element of trust to where they'll open up to you. They're going to be able to answer, like, why is this program the right thing for you? Like, why is now the right time? They'd be like, look, because I saw the offer. I've been thinking about it anyway.
For months.
Those are the people that you can build a strong rapport with, and you can get the answers that you need in order to close a sale. For me, too many coaches expect launches to be like brand new people that they've never spoken to. And that's the problem if you don't speak to people on a regular basis. There's no people that you have spoken to go back to with these things.
Definitely. I think at a launch more than ever, it's a time where you don't want to have to actually convince, because if it's gone well, you should have the agency of, okay, there's only, maybe there is only 10 space or however many ever that you offer. You want the ability to actually say, like, genuinely, there's 4 places left. So you don't want to have to convince people to like get over the line. It should be a case, like during the scholarship launch, there wasn't that much convincing anybody. It was a lot of people I'd either had a call with previously or we knew about. We knew they were in conversation. They'd been speaking for a while, and they were like, right, I'm taking this opportunity. I'm in. Do you know what I mean? I'm ready to kind of dive in. So if you're going to get a lot of fresh people, it's going to be a lot of effort and a lot of work where you're going to have to convince people who are quite fresh that they should purchase from you, when you could just focus on people who maybe just need that little nudge, that, the right opportunity to take that next step. Because realistically, if you're having to convince them, they're probably not going to be the best clients, and you might end up with a refund, especially if they are brand new or whatever. So you don't want that happening in your launch where you're relying on that intake of clients. Anyway.
Especially when you've only got 20 spaces. 5 are meant to be in refunds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now you've got to
drop your launch to 15.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're like, hey, 5 people have dropped out.
Or I've just had 5 people come up. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, for me, the biggest tip that I can give someone to improve sales for launches is the pre-launch phase.
Yeah.
Make sure you're moving as many people as you can into these areas of, I'm considering your program. I think it's a good fit for me.
100%.
I'm willing to have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
And then I would purposely target all of those people with the offer. Maybe speaking to coaches that are a little bit further along in the journey, that's also a really good way of doing it. If you can run an ad for your offer, and this is where people go wrong with ads as well, I think. They run ads, so they think, right, I'm going to do let's take summer, for example, summer launch offer. They'll run ads to a cold audience, and then they'll wonder why they're getting garbage leads in.
For a month.
Yeah, for 4 weeks.
For 4 weeks,
and it's like, no wonder nobody's showing up to these calls, and no wonder your closing percentage is in the toilet, because you're basically selling it on a commodity standpoint.
Yeah.
I think the best thing that you could do, if you're going to spend a little bit of money on targeting your people, target your engaged audience. So that's like the people who already engage with you on Instagram within the last kind of 90 days, the people who are on your email list. And if you've got enough of them and you've been in the game long enough and you've built up like a sales pipeline of this is how many people have filled in an application, not signed up, said they were going to wait, target all of those people with those ads so they see the offer that's coming out. You don't have to manually then go and send it to everyone. That's probably the best thing that you can do to get the right people on calls. And I think personally, like one of the best ways to improve sales is to get better quality people on the calls.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. I think there's always going to be a time where you're going to speak to bad leads and you learn a lot from that. But you want to speak to as many of the right people as possible. Like that's just obvious. Do you know what I mean? To kind of make that happen.
It's got to the point now I assume self-books just aren't going to buy.
Yeah, to be honest, we always like who booked this person in because
I genuinely like in my head, there's people like that come through our sales pipeline. I'm like, and not to turn them into like units of money, but like we should close them because they're a good fit. I know they're a good fit. We've been speaking to them for a while. When you see the random ones where I wake up in the morning and it's like, John has booked a call and I'm like,
there's no info on them.
At 5 in the morning. Who the fuck's booked that? No one's even working now. And then it's because they've gone through the form and booked themselves. I'm always like, that call's either not going to happen or it's going to happen, but it's going to be very, very short and it's going to be over.
Yeah, they've come across on YouTube and then they've watched a few videos and then they've booked the call and
it does happen.
Yeah, it does.
And some do sell. Some people, this is the way I buy, right? I don't need to speak to anyone. I will find whoever I'm thinking about. I will binge watch the absolute shit out of everything they've ever done for like 3 days straight. And then I'll be like, bro, don't speak to me. Just get me on the phone. I'm definitely going to do it.
I'm that type of buyer. So like a lot of people want us as buyers in their pipeline. Like I can come across someone, really enjoy what they say and be like, oh my God, shit, yeah, I'm buying it. Like I'll buy and my missus hates it because I can get to the front of a queue in a shop and they'll be like, do you want any of these today? I'm like,
absolutely.
Yeah. No, I'll take that. And I don't even know what it is. Like I'm an impulse purchaser. Like I will buy stuff. Whereas realistically, there's not that many people like that.
No.
So you've got to nurture people. You've got to get people to the point. But even on the basis of when you were talking about pre-launch being like a really important part, I'm going to assume that people are opening up a launch and then there's a time period of when it shuts off. Don't get lazy in that middle part because you'll have the pre-launch bit where you'll make sales. You'll have the day of where ideally you'll get a huge amount of sales, and then usually it's the very end where a bunch of people will get over the line as well. So make sure you are grafting that period as well and get out of your head that it feels pushy or that you're pushing people. They need to be pushed in this time period because at that point the offer's gone. You don't want to be the person that goes, oh, it closes on Sunday. Shit, I haven't filled all my spaces. Oh, I've kept it open until next Sunday because people will smell that a mile off. Do the work in the interim where it kind of does go a little bit quieter because you've got to post other things other than, 4 places. Here's my launch. Work people that have shown any interest whatsoever or message you about maybe booking on a call or whatever it is. Graft them in that middle bit so that by the time the launch finishes, you've boxed it off. They're either going to do it or they're not. They're either on a call or they're not. And don't let people book calls for the following week when the launch is closed because you're losing a bit of positioning, a little bit of authority there.
Agreed. Really good tips there. So if that's you and you're looking to do a summer launch, make sure you listen to this, watch it back on repeat. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well and hit the bell notification so you know when we do more videos. But definitely think about all the things that we've spoken about because if you implement those things, your sales tactics don't need to change that much for a launch. You just need to make sure that you're getting on the phone with the right people. A launch can be a time where you get people on the phone that normally wouldn't be on the phone with you. So you need to make sure that you're doing the right things with those people in order to make sure that you're not just wasting your time.
Definitely.
Thank you very much.